For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out sabatcg.com. Yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's a Saber Fighting 4. Decided to do something fun today as we wait for Ascended Heroes to come out. I'm gonna be ranking the One Piece villains from the series, and I think in the future I'm gonna do the One Piece arcs as well, do a whole tier list on that. Will probably take much longer. I think this won't take as long, but actually anything related to One Piece takes a long time. So this is gonna be, I think, a pretty casual, I guess, list. It's probably just gonna be my favorite villains. I guess if we are gonna put in some metrics, it would have to be that the villain is competent, is cool, is interesting. Strength, I guess, is gonna come into play. Maybe I don't like villains that act tough and then they get pussies when they realize they're gonna get their ass kicked. These types of villains suck. So like this guy, this dude, that because of him Shanks lost his arm trying to save Luffy. By the way, this is obviously gonna be, I'm not gonna hold back with spoilers and stuff, so I'm gonna assume you're up to date or you don't really care about spoilers when you watch a video like this. So yeah, this guy gets a straight D. Then we got this bitch, I don't even remember her name. What was her name? Oh, Lady Alvida. Yeah. So she's kind of cool, you know, good initial villain. She doesn't even feel like a villain anymore, you know, hanging around the Buggy crew, and who knows what will happen in the future. She ate the slip fruit and she became fine from an ugly bitch. And she's logical, but you know, she just cruises along. She doesn't really do much, kind of a side character. So to give her something more, I think, yeah, it'd be too much. We need to see more shit with her. Okay. Then I got this dude. So this guy, where should I put him? Should I put him actually in B? Ah, man, I forgot his freaking name too again. Hemebo's dad. Yeah, when I just do these recordings, my memory just goes away. Trying to do things at once. But he's kind of, he was kind of a good villain. I like the sort of ruthless villain too, that they just really don't care. They're just about the ruthless business and they just put away all the sentimentality. So his thing is like, look, I'm the boss around here. It means I do everything right. I'm not gonna let anybody define me. The sort of, you know, Stalin kind of attitude. So just to give him C, I don't know. And he didn't really act like a pussy too much. I don't know. I think B's maybe pushing it, so I don't know. Let's just keep him in C and then maybe I put him in B. Okay, and then we got these guys, Kabaji and Moji. Nothing really special, you know, Buggy's crew. They're pretty funny. But in like the New World arc, they're kind of pussies too, I guess. Okay, Buggy. So this is, yeah, the thing is with Buggy is that he was one of my favorite characters, but I think in many ways Oda kind of ruined him. Like, to me, Buggy stood out between all the East Blue villains because he's the guy that, first things first, you got that history with Shanks, okay? We don't know it at first, but we do find out eventually that he had been in the New World. You know, he was in Roger's crew. He was an apprentice, but he was in Roger's crew. He knows about Whitebird. He has experience over like the other East Blue pirates, okay? And I sort of like the OGs in One Piece too. Like, if you prove you're an OG to me and Oda writes it so that it is a good OG, I kind of like that. And Luffy never actually probably kicked his ass in the first arc, at least. You know, obviously right now Luffy's a lot stronger, but in like the East Blue arc where he's introduced, he didn't really like kick his ass, you know, one-on-one. He sort of worked together with Nami. It wasn't really a proper ass kicking where he got knocked out. He just sort of blasted him away. And then the fact that he was like the only recurring villain from the East Blue and he would follow Luffy into the Grand Line, I thought we were going to get a lot more of him. Like he was going to be a respected villain. You know, he's not obviously not going to be the strongest, but he's going to be, you know, that OG. He had that to set him apart. But Oda, in the end, he just wrote him to be like a comic relief character. He's like the dude now that's tricking everybody into thinking that he's strong, he's an emperor, but he's laughably weak. And I really don't dig that. Even if Buggy never became an emperor, if it was just a cool sort of villain, you know, I'm trying to just give him, what kind of comparison can I give him to? Not even like the Joker from Batman, but the kind of dude that he's kind of like an anti-hero. He's kind of like, he ain't that strong, but he's not weak. He's not useless. And he's respectable. He has his role. Okay? Man, I could go on for hours about Buggy, but yeah, I don't like how his character sort of developed. But he is pretty funny. He is cool. The voice actor is a legend. So yeah, I'm gonna keep him in B, but he doesn't even feel like a villain anymore. You know, it does. Yeah, it's just. If Oda wrote him the way I sort of envisioned his character was gonna grow, I would have put him in A. Anyway, we got these guys too. You know, should I actually put them in D because they were kind of dumb. They thought they would be stronger than Kuro. Let's just keep them in C. They were a bit menacing, I guess, in the beginning. But nothing really special. Obviously, there's characters that we only see a little bit in the show and then we never see again. They're going to be at a disadvantage because they're not as important. Django as well. This guy is just all over the place. He's nothing really special. It doesn't really feel like a villain too. Okay, Kuro. Now, Kuro, I'm actually going to put in A, because he just does everything that a good villain could do. He had his cunning plan. He wanted out of the pirate business. He wanted to just get money, live in peace. He didn't give a fuck about anybody else. Was happy just to trick everybody in his crew and then kill them. Just heartless, you know, cool fighting style, you know, with the claws, kind of like Wolverine. He just had a lot going for him. In the dub, he's voiced by Kent Williams. Just great for that role. I can't really say many things about him. I mean, you could say he's weak. In the East Blue standards, he was one of the toughest pirates, supposedly. The man of 1,000 plans. He was a pretty cool villain, I'd say. And I think for a long time, we wanted to see more of him. Anyway. And we got Gin. This guy, he ain't really much. He's like, you know, characters like this where they're just almost kind of wishy-washy. The way Oda writes them sometimes, they don't do it for me. Like this guy, you know, he thinks Don Krieg is the strongest. That was dumb. He's loyal to him, but then he realizes he was dumb. He doesn't want to kill Sanji, but then does a bunch of other dumb shit, and you're thinking to yourself, it's like you don't know what to do. Whatever. Okay, this guy's straight D. Characters like this is just annoying. It's just Oda trying to hype up shit characters. I really hated this guy. Okay, Don Krieg. Now, Don Krieg, I don't really like him too much, to be honest. I mean, he's the type of villain that he thinks he's hot shit, but he's happy to be a pussy. He's happy to just... Technically, he was one of the tougher pirates from the East Blue, but... You know, the fight with Luffy is kind of cool, I guess. It feels like a real pirate fight, where they're fighting on the water. You just don't see a lot of One Piece shit like this. In fact, it might be one of the only occasions where they actually fight like that. And Luffy has to be mindful of the sea. But he kind of sucks, to be honest. I mean, he's nothing special. Anyway, when we got Mihawk, man, would this guy even be a villain? So, we don't know everything about Hawkeye Mihawk, so I don't know if I want to put him in S, but A, this guy deserved this. He was cool as fuck. I remember I always knew, like, when the Seven Warlords of the Sea, before, like, bounties and stuff, and you really know exactly what's going on. I knew that Mihawk, he's going to be definitely the strongest Warlord of the Sea between the originals and the future ones, because he's the guy that's sort of kind of like the rival of Shanks, one of the Yonko, okay? He spars with him, he's proven himself in that regard. And he doesn't have any devil fruit. And then eventually when they did announce like the bounties in the later episodes where he teamed up with Crocodile and all that shit, and you see like the over 3,500,000,000 is like, yeah, I was right. This guy is the toughest warlord. He's like in the Yonko level. Like he could be a Yonko if you wanted to, if you really wanted to. And we don't know everything about him yet. At least I don't. I'm caught up with the anime, but not with the manga. So, yeah, cool, strongest swordsman, no devil fruit, just swagger. His original voice actor was the voice actor of Piemon, rest in peace. Really, really cool, obviously. So Mihawk gets an easy A. And I'm really curious about a lot of stuff for him. I wonder what's going to happen with him. Mihawk is the type of character that I really just want to see kick other strong characters' ass. Like, let's say a bunch of Blackbeard's crew, they sort of just team up to kill him, and then he just kills them sort of in style, and they just can't believe it. They shit their pants. This is the sort of thing where you want him to kick ass in a cool, cold fashion and just put in work. Okay. Then we got Arlong's like 3 right-hand men. You got Chu. These guys, nothing really special. I mean, to put them in the same tier list as some dudes like Don Creek and then the other ones is a bit unfair, but what am I going to do with them? They're side characters, really. And again, this guy thought he was tough. I don't know, just gonna keep him in C. And then Hachi. Again, there's just a bunch of stuff that we need to learn more about his way of thinking, of why he was, kind of cool being with Arlong and then messing Nami over, but then he regrets it. I needed to see more. So, I don't know if I want to put this guy in B. Was kind of funny, but I C too, I guess. I like Hachi. I like the whole that he come back after so many episodes in Sabaudi Archipelago, link up with the Straw Hats. It's just cool shit, but as a villain, we needed to see more. Okay, suckers like this guy, they get D, they don't matter. And then we got Arlong too. So Arlong is going to get a straight A. He's actually one of my favorite villains, one of the best written villains in my opinion. In many ways, Arlong to me, he's like the Tupac of the Fishmen. I really don't know how to explain it. He's like racist in a way, but there's reasons for it. He came there for a reason. He became heartless, and he just does everything that a villain should do. He's scary, he's strong, cold, ruthless, cunning. He has a plan. His fight with Luffy is excellent. He's an OG from the Sun Pirates. It's just everything about this guy is one of the best villains. The Nami arc in the East Blue, like the last main arc of the East Blue, you could say, is one of my favorites. I think it's one of the best arcs. In his younger days, with the fedora hat and the earrings, he's just such a cool pimpin' character. He's an amazing villain. He just does everything that a villain needs to do to be cool, in my opinion. I could say more about him, but what else should I say? I mean, I'm not really good at articulating my thoughts, but Arlong is definitely an A. Okay, then we got Tashigi. Man, is she even supposed to be like a villain? What are these like selections here? They don't make sense. She's not a villain, but every time she does something, she like fucking fails. And she's like mad on Zoro for ridiculous bullshit. And yeah, she's kind of cool, but it doesn't really do much. I'm just gonna keep her at C. I don't see her as a villain. Smoker, maybe you could say he's a villain. In his arc. But again, this guy is like he's a good dude. He's like one of the honest Navymen, you could say, that believes in justice. He wants to help, wants things to be legit. Is he even a villain? I guess if you compare that, he's against Luffy. I guess so. You know what really drags Smoker for me down in the Alabasta arc, where he just goes away for something. Like he needs to meet up Hina so badly, and then Luffy has to fight Crocodile on his own. That just whole arc, I would change so much into it, even though it's one of my favorites. But he was a menacing sort of villain. He does have like his integrity. You know, when they save him, he's like, okay, go. I don't know, man. He doesn't... He was somebody that I guess Luffy couldn't fuck with. He's tough. I guess I'll keep him in B. To put him in C with these guys, it just doesn't make sense. I'll keep him in B. Okay, these guys really don't give a shit. They just, as long as they're beside the king and they're corrupt, they're cool. So, yeah, they suck. Put them in D. Wapol. Now, Wapol, he sucks too, but I mean, his devil fruit, he can do stuff with his devil fruit. And again, he doesn't even feel like a villain. The type of dude that's a pussy. When Blackbeard came, he wanted to leave the island, Drum Kingdom. Not much to say. Just keep him in C. Okay, and then we got Miss Valentine, Nikita, and Mr. Five. Ooh. So these guys... They're agents, you know, they were serious about their business. They weren't really cowardly. They fought till the end, even though they kind of sucked. I'd put him in B. This bitch, she doesn't really do much. Like, the only thing you can do with that devil fruit is basically become heavy, and that's it. Oda could have utilized it much different. Like, she could boost the weight of her hands and then punch, and it'd be hard to block. And Oda could have made her be much better, to be honest. But all she did was just fall from sky high, and that's it. Anyway, I'll keep him in B. These guys... this bitch was pretty heartless too. These guys, they were more like... the Baroque Works agents, since they're like assassins and they work under Crocodile, they automatically sort of just get extra points for me. She didn't feel much like a villain though, so... more like a side assistant. Anyway, I'll put her in C. I like Miss Golden Week, but anyway, let's put you into B. This guy, Mr. 3, was kind of a pussy, but he was a calculated one, at least in a good way. And a Little Garden arc is one of my favorites too. Mr. 2, pretty good villain. Fight with Sanji was cool. You know, it didn't really stay as a villain for long. Man, dog is yelling like crazy outside. What the hell's going on? Miss Doublefinger, and this guy. I think this guy's gonna get an A because he's like the serious dude. I guess I'll give both of them an A. They're like the serious, you could say, commanders of Crocodile. After Miss Sundays, like, is these guys that were pretty serious. I think I put Mr. 2 over here too, but he didn't really last too long as a villain. He's introduced like as a friend to the Straw Hats, where they save his ass. Anyway, okay, so let's get into the serious shit right now. Finally get to talk some real shit. So Crocodile, my favorite character. Sometimes I go between if it's this guy or Whitebeard, but I think it's just Crocodile. He's still alive, we're gonna see more of him. I fucking love this character so much. In the Funimation dub, in the original Japanese version too. He's voiced by the guy that does Vandemon. There's a bunch of other villains with that low voice. Perfect. Ozaburo, I don't remember his name. But Crocodile, man. I remember when I was watching One Piece, like I've been watching it for over 20 years right now. I'm in my 30s. When I first watched the Alabasta arc in the 4Kids days, I thought, oh, this is the first like 7 Waters of the Sea, that Luffy's gonna kick his ass. He's probably like the weakest one. He sucks the most. And I felt that way for all. When I watched the Funimation dub, and then eventually the Japanese dub, I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy he's growing on me. He's cool. He's calculating. He's smooth. You know, he's not a coward. He has that swagger. He's that pirate. So cool, man. Loki, a devil fruit. Like the way he thought, and he proved that everybody was a dumbass in the Alabasta Kingdom when he was manipulating. Just sort of, I don't want to get political, but maybe make me compare it into a lot of things going on in my country and how everybody like is being tricked and shit like that. But he's just a villain's villain. The amount of harm and destruction he caused into Vivi's country, the way he just fucked everybody over, made them like fight themselves. It just, what more do you want a villain to do? He doesn't give a fuck. He's ready to just kill his own dudes for fucking up. Like he killed, or I think he thought he killed Mr. 3, you know, in the meeting at Rain Base. And then he just goes, man, nothing but a sucker. And everybody's there just like not doing shit. It's like in their face. If you fuck up, I'm gonna kill you. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Heartless, cool. He's just a villain's villain. And I'm really curious about what we're gonna find out in the future, what his like big secret is. We still don't know yet, or at least I don't. Was he really a chick and Ivankov turned him into a man? Or was he just a slave and then Ivankov rescued him? Or just somehow, there's a lot we don't know about Crocodile. He's got that attitude where I'm not trusting anybody, you know? It's just all about me, making sure I win. It's just, he's cool. You know, with the cigars and shit. He's just great. And in the live action, some dude is going to play him. I don't even know who he is. Yeah, we needed somebody else. But anyway, I don't even watch the live action. Okay. And we got this guy, Bellamy. I'm going to put him in... I'm going to put him in A because he was like an actual like pirate villain. And in the like Mocktown arc, he really just didn't give a fuck. Even though he kind of knew Luffy was stronger than him when he saw the bounty. And he was thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to say this shit. That the bounty's fake and shit. He just went all out and he got his ass kicked, but he did do his shit. I don't really know how to explain it. He was a good villain to me. Yeah. Pirate's pirate. Okay, then we got these guys. These guys, they were pretty ruthless too. Okay, this guy, he did suck a lot. These guys were a lot more serious. Like the priests in the Skypiea arc. Yeah. Then we got Enel. So Enel, he's a great villain. The sort of thing he does where he pretends he's like the strongest dude on the planet, even though he knows he's not, but he wants to act like he is, like he's God. It's kind of shitty. But he was pretty tough. The lightning devil fruit, of course, is amazing. We'd all wish to have something like that. And, you know, he did put in a lot of work. Like, technically, if you think about it, if Luffy didn't have the immunity in the lightning, he wouldn't be able to handle Enel, if you think about it. That's a really strong devil fruit power to have. And I think the Skypiea arc is one of the last, like, true pirate arcs we got to experience, where the crew, they're trying to get gold. Like, they got caught up in the Skypiea mess, but their original goal was to explore and then try and get gold out of the whole ordeal. Yeah, Enel, I mean, he is kind of insane. The fact that he just want to kill, he really just hates everybody because they're not supposed to be there. Doesn't give a fuck, and he just wants to go to the moon. But at least he had a goal. Like, he was trying to do some shit. Anyway. Okay, then we get this dude. Just like Buggy, Foxy had potential, but he's kind of a pussy in the end. He's worse than Buggy, though, I'd say. Even though maybe he's stronger technically, but he didn't have a lot of Buggy had a lot of lost potential, in my opinion. This guy, not as much. Anyway, okay, and then the CP9 dudes. These guys, they're supposed to be, you know, intelligence. The Ennis lobby, yeah. Water 7 arc was pretty serious. So I'm going to put them all in A. Now, Rob Lucci, I would have put this guy into S if it wasn't for his, how Oda changed up his character in the Egghead arc. Like, this guy, Lucci, he was a top villain, and he was a top villain, dark justice, you know, that's the motto. It's the sort of thing where, you know what? For shit to be right, a lot of the times we just gotta do things the ugly way for everything else on the surface to be cool. And it was like, yeah, justice never submits to evil. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do if it's the mission. Go all the way. We don't give no fucks. Cold, heartless, ruthless. He was about that business. Like, my associates, they're not my friends, they're just my partners. If they do some fuck shit, I'm gonna call them out. Like, I remember when this bitch, she was like, oh, we finally completed the mission. And he's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. What are you talking about? Take the mission seriously. We're not there yet. Didn't say it like that, but that was the shit. It's like a robot. And then Oda make him give a fuck about this dude in Egghead. And then also pull in some of the whack-ass faces the Straw Hat crew pulls and like the wacky characters do. It kind of ruined him for me a little bit. So I'm just going to give him an A instead of an S. All right. And we got this guy. This guy sucks ass, man. Ass. We got Hawkback. Now, Hawkback, he's not really much of a villain too. He's like a dude that has one-itis over his bitch. That's the thing. And then everything follows after that. He's a doctor at the end of the day, not really a fighter. I do like this guy. I think Oda wrote him really well. Of course, he's wrong. What he did, he's wrong. But I get where he's coming from. It's the sort of thing where it's kind of like a man thing, you know, where you just want a bitch so bad and you can't have her. It's really tough to articulate, but when Oda wrote this dude, I knew where he was coming from, this sort of thing. And he knows, deep down he knows he's doing fuck shit. But he still wanted to do it. He still wants, you know what, I'm gonna revive this bitch. She's gonna be my slave. It's not gonna be perfect, but I still wanna do it. So, anyway, whatever. I'm gonna keep him in B. This guy sucked. Was a lot of shit we don't know about. I'm gonna put him in C, actually. He died in the end, but again, he's kind of like a laughable villain to me. He didn't really do shit. Anyway, Perona. Man, a lot of these characters, they don't even feel like villains to me. They're like some of my favorite characters. So Perona, as a villain, I'm not going to put her in C, but the whole thing with like beating everybody with the ghosts, that's kind of ridiculous. She's one of my favorites, to be honest, but not as a villain. Funny. Her laugh is pretty wacky. The horo, I don't even want to do it. It's embarrassing, but yeah, not really a villain. Maybe there's more stuff Oda can write up with the Ghost Devil Fruit, but I don't know. Okay, this guy. So this guy, he's basically like a hybrid of the samurai and Brook's shadow. So I'm gonna give him an A. The fight with Zoro was super cool, of course, and he's meant to be like a strong dude. So gotta give him an A. Moria. So Moria, man, Moria is one of my favorites, but Oda kind of did him dirty in a way, or at least didn't explain a lot of stuff. Like, because Moria got his ass kicked with Luffy in that kind of way, people like to say, just like with Crocodile, must be one of the weakest warlords of the sea. You know, he didn't really do shit. He was kind of a pussy. Oda should have wrote it that, okay, because he combined with all those shadows Luffy and just kind of whooped his ass while he was in ores, and he took that damage, that played a big role, okay? And in the Blackbeard, when he just went against Blackbeard, and currently he's like imprisoned as far as I know, if it was one-on-one against the commanders, it could have been fair game. But when he's on his own against everybody, then obviously he's going to lose. So, yeah, Moria I really like. We need to learn a lot more for him. As far as I see it, he's supposed to be like in some kind of like the demon race or some kind of other race, non-human, like Kaido and like other characters. But we need to learn more. Which actually brings me to Crocodile too, which is something I forgot to mention. In the Alabasta arc, I made a video about this a long time ago. The way that fight was handled, you know, Luffy against Crocodile one-on-one, and then, yeah, with the blood and the water, somehow I'm gonna damage this dude, and then Smoker went away, and then Luffy, before even Gear 1 beats Crocodile, and everybody has to think, oh, Crocodile means he sucks. It should have been that, you know, Smoker and Luffy, they team up against Crocodile, and let's say Smoker eventually goes down, but then Crocodile has sustained damage, and then Luffy finally finishes him off. That would have been a cooler fight, a more fair fight for Crocodile, to make him not appear as weak, at least back then. But of course, you know, it's got to be one-on-one, Luffy, main character, for him to look cool, but this is when you get everybody saying, oh, okay, so Crocodile is the weakest. He got his ass kicked before Gear 1. Anyway. So yeah, Moria, I'm not going to put him in B because I like him too much. I really like where they tell him, you know, surrender. And he's like, fuck all that shit. Even if I die, pirates don't surrender like real pirates. And he has balls. He's like the opposite of Blackbeard. So I really admire that. Pirate's pirate once again. So I'm going to put him in A. I want to see a lot more from Moria. Okay. Then we got Kuma. Man, again, Kuma is not supposed to be a villain. Now, in the beginning, where we don't know like all the information about him being part of the Revolutionary Army, the way he let the Straw Hats go and makes a deal with Zoro, that was like, come on. This isn't serious shit here. It's just not realistic. But I guess, you know, if we were just going to think of him as a villain, straight up, without the backstory, then yeah, he's really strong, scary. If he's a robot, no feelings, so I'm going to put him in A. But I don't really see Kuma as a villain at this point. Many of these dudes, actually. This dude, he was kind of funny. At least he was organized. He put up a fight. He had his gang. He did some shit, whatever. Okay, then we get this guy, Hawkins. I always thought this guy kind of sucks because he's, again, the type of dude that, gotta take the pussy way out. But his devil fruit is strong. I guess he's one of the supernovas. He's, I don't know, put him in C. Might be too much. I guess I'll keep him in B, whatever. I've never been fond of him. This guy was just traitor. He sucked. Damage didn't make sense, like how he took that damage from Kid and then all of a sudden he walks around. A lot of shit doesn't make sense in One Piece. He annoying. He just sucks even more than Hawkins. I'm gonna put him in C, actually. This guy, yeah, you guys know the deal. Sentomaru, I don't look at this guy as a villain. I'm gonna put him in B. It was solid when he was first introduced. Haki. Luffy can't do shit to him. Whatever. This bitch too. Didn't really see that much. He just commanded. I hate the saddest shit. I always find it like corny as fuck. Like when I used to watch long time ago, High School DxD, the Akino shit, that also pissed me off. Like you got that fine chick doing that crazy shit. So I don't know. I think I'll put her into C actually because I hate that shit. This guy, he was funny. Okay, whatever. Magellan. Strong devil fruit. Strong. Yeah. I don't got much else to say. I mean, I don't want to say he's like a robotic character, but he did what he's supposed to do. He nearly killed Luffy. I mean, about the business, just A, I guess. I mean, yeah. This guy, yeah, this guy he just didn't do shit. And then we got Hina. We barely saw her, and she managed to fuck everything up too. Whatever, just C. This dude, is this guy like a villain? His shit with Boa was actually cool. I'm gonna put him in B. This guy, whatever. This guy, pretty cutthroat. I'll put him in B. Sengoku doesn't really feel like a villain, but he's really strong. So I guess if that would be the case, whatever. A. Kizaru, A. This guy, I'm not gonna put this guy in S because one of the things that pissed me off in the Whitebeard arc is that the whole shit with Blackbeard is going on, and then everybody's not giving a fuck. It's almost like, oh yeah, forget this dude. We're just gonna focus on Luffy. Blackbeard is doing some shit there with Whitebeard, but let's just forget that shit. So yeah, and the whole thing where he tricks the squared into betraying Whitebeard. That was also kind of like, come on, whatever. So I'm gonna keep him in A. His devil fruit is obviously super cool, the lava fruit. Wish I had it. Aokiji, A as well, in terms of like, you know, power. But these guys, they don't really even feel like villains. When I think of villain, I think of like Crocodile. He's got like a whole arc dedicated to him. He's like the main bad dude. Okay? And then after a long while, you could say he's like not a villain anymore. Aokiji didn't really have an arc. I guess Akainu, you could say Whitebeard, the Whitebeard arc, he's kind of like the villain there. But yeah, you know, he killed Ace, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Who's this dude? Just whatever, dude. These guys are supposed to be some of the worst, so I guess I'll put them at B. I don't know what they did though, but they're supposed to be so ruthless, so I guess these guys that actually just, they give me the vibe that they'd be fucking ruthless as hell. I'll put them in A. Oh man, this guy. Okay, before we go into this guy, these guys, we really don't know shit about them though. We just know they're in Blackbeard's crew. I guess I'll put you into B. This guy though, he's gonna get a C because he fucking sucks ass. He's like fucking, how can I describe this guy? He's like the type of guy that's like he not pretends, but he, how can I describe this? He just pisses me off because he's like the dude that's, he thinks he's hot shit for one, and yeah, the thing with Ace and then with Whitebeard where they're fighting, and then like he's one of the first dudes to involve himself. I think he's like a traitor where I don't know how to describe him, but he sucks. I don't like this guy, what he stands for. Anyway, this guy, he's a villain, but you know what? I'm gonna put him in B because again, Oda kind of fucked him up for me. When he, in the Dressrosa arc, when this guy is fighting Sabo and then Sabo blasts him with all that fire, the fact that he didn't die and then he just kind of badly hurt, but he traveled all the way into the secret island of the Revolutionary Army, and again, damage that doesn't make sense. I didn't like that. He should have died. So, yeah. Gonna keep him here. Man, now that I think about it, we're sort of missing villains. Like, where the hell are the fucking like wind dude in the Dragon arc in the East Blue, where he's trying to drink the blood of the dragons. Yeah, it was just another dude that kind of sucked. Anyway, this guy, I'll give you an A. We need to know more, but his sort of reputation precedes him in a way, so A. Blackbeard. Okay, Blackbeard, I'm gonna give him a B, and I'm gonna explain why. So Blackbeard, when he's introduced in the Mocktown arc, before Luffy knows he's Blackbeard, just his first appearance really, you know, okay, this guy is probably gonna be a villain, he's probably gonna be somebody important, whatever. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, but he's one of those like villains that he has his purpose, he has his ideals, there's like reasoning to his shit, even though he's a villain. He was cool when he was first introduced, But then when I see him in every other instance, how everything this guy does is in a pussy way. Like he almost has to do something when he knows there's like 95% chance he's gonna win. If there's a 90% chance, it's not good enough. We gotta sort of pussy things out even more. And I don't like that. He does this whole thing disrespecting Whitebeard, going against him. And then when he's about to get his ass kicked, even after all this shit, he goes, oh yeah, I'm your son, don't do it. I hate shit like this. Okay? He sort of, again, surprise attacks Law. That shit sucked too. You could say it's strategic, but it's not my style. I mean, you want it to be, you want the style of Moria, the style of Garp. Garp rushed to his island to save Kobe, gave no fucks. That's the kind of shit you want. So anyway, I'd keep him in B. I don't like Blackbeard. I just think he might be the final like One Piece villain. Is either him or Emu maybe. But yeah, I just don't. I don't dig him. I don't know what else to say. Whatever. And this guy's supposed to be. Oh yeah, that dude. He got tricked though by like the aristocrat dudes. Whatever. I'm just gonna put him in C. This guy gets a D. Caribou, I'll give you a C. This dude, I like him, but the way he was kind of dumb, kind of an OG. I'll put you into C too. I can't put you higher. These guys, they completely suck. It's almost like they're just blindly don't know what they're doing. Oh man, this guy like might be just the worst One Piece villain ever. The way Oda wrote him, it's ridiculous. Anyway, these guys, whatever. Okay, then we got Monet. Now Monet and this guy, Virgo. You know what sucks about these guys, especially Monet? We don't really know a lot of shit with them and Doflamingo. Like when this bitch is about to press the button and everything is supposed to explode in Punk Hazard, and she's like, I'm so sure, Dofi, you're gonna be the Pirate King. What was the plan? What was the goal? You didn't give us enough reason to believe that. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't explained. The relationship. Oda it doesn't really write romance that way in One Piece. So, okay, fine, if you're not gonna do that. But you gotta give me more of what was the plan with Dofi. He's doing all this shit, but then he's just saying, I just wanna see the world burn. Well, how are you gonna become king of the pirates that way? It's just a lot of stuff that wasn't explained that should have been explained. Okay? So, yeah, I think I'm gonna put her in B because of this. Now with Virgo, he's more a simplistic villain. We know a lot more shit with this dude. So I'm just gonna, straight up A. Dofi's right-hand man. All about serving him, all about the plants. Really just cutthroat, cold, ruthless, strong. A lot of the shit over there's like a bunch of plot holes in the Punk Hazard arc too, but I don't think I can put this guy any less than A. With Monet, I'll keep her at B. Caesar Clown. This guy's gonna get an A. Great villain. Fight with Luffy was kind of ass, but mad scientist, kills a bunch of people, doesn't give a fuck. Creates really dangerous shit, doesn't give a fuck. Again, kind of feels like a comic relief character like Buggy, but at least he's more capable. Whatever. Isho, this guy does not feel like a villain at all. A lot of shit we don't know. I'm gonna keep him in B. The whole thing where he's just gonna let everything go down in Dressrosa, just so he can say, oh yeah, you see, it was because we allowed Doflamingo to do this shit. It's just not fully convincing. But anyway, I'm gonna keep him at B. This guy is one of my favorites. Don Chinjao. S is pushing it, but A is great. His fight with Luffy was great. Again, that OG Garp level motherfucker from the pirate era. What more can you say? I didn't like how he got his ass kicked against that other old dude from Dofi's crew. That didn't make sense. There's, again, damage doesn't make... This guy's supposed to be one of the toughest dudes, right? So... don't do the shit like that. Anyway, I'll keep him in A though. Baby 5, not even a villain, whatever. Funny, I'll keep her at B. Like Monet. This guy, he doesn't really have any dangerous powers. He's just a helicopter dude. This bitch, at least she can do dangerous shit. Whatever. This bitch, she also, it didn't make sense. A lot of shit with her. This guy was a lot more menacing. This dude, I like this dude because he's like a pirate dude. He's got the hat, you know, sailor, tattoo. He was tough. It's like, supposedly the devil fruit is like the enhanced devil fruit that Miss Valentine has. But again, didn't really do much with the fruit besides falling down from sky high. This guy is all right. We need to know more about his ass. Why he ended up working with Doflamingo. There's just, it doesn't make sense. He's a really old dude. Like, he's supposed to be like in his 50s. Like, when we see like the flashback with Doflamingo in his younger days. So, gotta know more shit. Senor Pink. This ain't even a villain to me, but he's awesome. We're gonna get an A. The whole arc with this guy is great. This dude, B, I guess. Not as cool as Senor Pink. And I don't know, man. I'm just gonna keep him at B. I think I gotta hurry up, get to the real villains. This little bitch, a lot of like plot hole shit. Again, I'm just gonna put it into B. This guy, okay, so this guy, obviously he sucks ass because of all the horrible shit he did. But that's what makes him a good villain in a way. So I don't want to put him in A, but I can't put him less than B. So we're just gonna keep him here too. This guy as well, a lot of wasted potential. This guy could have actually been A. But again, because he's like the true mastermind behind Doflamingo, kind of like how, you know, in Dragon Ball, it's Frieza supposed to be the ruler of the universe, but King Cold is stronger and he's just sort of managing shit. Just, it's a very Machiavellian thing to do. Like, you let somebody else be number one and you're sort of the assistant number two so that nobody comes for your head. It's like, you're letting somebody else like have the glory, but in essence, you're the one manipulating shit. So this guy had the potential to just fill that role perfectly with Doflamingo, but in the end, he was just a dude that sucked ass. So I can't put him any higher than B. Okay, Pika. Whatever, Pika's tough, but not much else. Doflamingo. Okay, so Doflamingo is another villain that's gonna get S along with Crocodile. I'm always gonna like Crocodile more, but Doflamingo is definitely one hell of a villain. He might just be the top villain in the whole of One Piece when you consider everything he did and the way he did it. The way he fucked up Dressrosa, it's kind of similar with Crocodile. You just let the people fuck themselves over. But the way he did it, you know, you have the king and the people in the actual country, you know, kill each other with his puppet abilities, with the string fruit. And then the ultimate thing that makes this guy the best villain, in my opinion, is the way he fucked over Kiros. I'm not going to actually spoil that, even though I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. Well, I mean, if you watched the show, you know. If you didn't, you don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. The way he fucked Kiros over, just the manner of his woman getting killed, the manner in the way the shit happened with Kiros. He's like the ultimate dude that got fucked over. And for that, I think Doflamingo is like the #1 villain. The way he just fucked everything up in Dressrosa. There's an interesting contrast though with Crocodile too, because Crocodile doesn't give a shit. He didn't fuck Alabasta as hard as let's say this guy fucked up Dressrosa. But Crocodile doesn't give a shit about even his own associates. Flamingo apparently does, unless they betray him, or I guess it's his life on the line. But besides that, he actually gives a shit about his henchmen, or the main commander family at least. So he's different in that regard with Crocodile, but it's a nice contrast. I like it. But they're very similar. I mean, yeah, you could almost say Oda kind of copy-pasted the Crocodile Alabasta arc with Doflamingo in many ways. I'm sure it was on purpose. A lot of stuff is on purpose too. It's not by accident. It's like there's a symbolism into it. But anyway, I could say a bunch of shit, but I think most people would agree Doflamingo is one of the best villains. There's depth into him. Celestial Dragon killed his father, but his father really fucked everything up. He was a dumbass, you know. Just filled with emotions. Like, he really is just insane in a way. Of all the shit he had to go through. Anyway. Then we got these guys. These guys, I gotta give them A's because they really just, they don't give a fuck, and they've been programmed to not give a fuck. How this dude, you know, he was crying after everything went to hell, it was kind of shitty, but Pudding ain't even a villain. I'll put her into B, a bunch of plot holes with her too, but anyway. Brûlé, these dudes, all these dudes, I guess they're gonna get B's. Perospero, I really like Perospero, but I don't know, man. Like, this guy, he showed mercy to the Straw Hats, and then he gave him a million chances to leave. They didn't. And then, am I doing this right? Cracker, this guy's gonna get A. I really like the shit with him. Fight with Luffy. You just sort of see the power level. Yeah, I like Perospero, but it ain't like he's that bad. Okay, same with these other dudes. But Karakuri is gonna get an A. It was cool. I'm not gonna give him an S because there's a bunch of bullshit I didn't like about his fight with Luffy. I really just hate when damage doesn't make fuck all sense in One Piece. Like, he's beating Luffy for like 10 hours, okay? And then Luffy just gets a couple of major shots in, and then this guy goes down. It doesn't make sense. When the whole thing is supposed to be, oh, I'll outclass you in every regard for 10 hours. I don't like that shit. It wasn't convincing, okay? But, yeah, whatever. And it's also the thing is with these guys, like, this guy's supposed to be in his 50s. Just a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense if you do, like, the whole age calculation with Big Mom, but whatever. Okay, and then Big Mom herself, I'm gonna give her... I really don't like how everything got handled in the Wano arc in the end, and Luffy didn't fight her, but she is quite the gangster villain. I guess I only want to reserve S for the best of the best, and I think it's just these two. I don't think I want to put her into S. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that, again, plot holes. I'll keep her in A, but she's one of the best villains, of course. All the shit she did pretty much ate her friends, and the mother didn't realize. It's just, yeah. These dudes, B, I guess. I don't know what the fuck to do with you. These motherfuckers. I like Ulti and this dude. Ah, man, how did everything get messed up like this? I'm trying to put you into, yeah, B. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. In Kaido's crew, I really just don't give a shit about everybody. Nobody's really cool except these dudes and Black Maria. They were pretty funny, and yeah, they had character to them, I'd say. They really had a lot of character. And they're tough too. This dude, he was like whatever. Black Maria was definitely one hell of a villain. I didn't like the fight with Nico Robin. Her fruit doesn't even make sense to me at this point, but whatever. Just transforming Nico Robin, the whole hand fruit, the flower fruit, all of a sudden you become like a succubus. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, the fight was cool in terms of action. You want to switch your brain off. Who's who? You know what? I'm going to put this guy in a B2 as opposed to C. He was one of the cooler villains, I guess, from the crew. Jack too. Queen, not really. This dude, he's tough, but we just don't know shit about his ass. I mean, I guess because he's tough, I'll put these guys in the B because they're tough, but they weren't really cool or that interesting. Okay, this guy sucks major ass, so we're gonna put him here. Kaido. Now Kaido could have been maybe S, but again, there's just a bunch of unexplained stuff, plot holes. The Wano arc is basically filled with plot holes, the most of them. But with Kaido, what I really don't like that Oda did is like, his introduction is basically following him from one sky island trying to kill himself. And then we never find out why he wants to kill himself. Why he wants to have war. Is it you're hoping you're going to die in the war? But then why are you doing all the other shit? A lot of stuff didn't make sense about Kaido, and it was never explained. What I do really like about Kaido, though, is his voice actor. He voices Umibozu from City Hunter. A bunch of other characters, too. The main villain, Tokuro the Younger from Yu Yu Hakusho. Just a lot of dudes like that. And I like that. He was fucking tough, but we needed more. If you think about it technically, he did just fuck everything up in a way that's on a scale as Crocodile and Flamingo, but he just seems kind of like, yeah, just standard for this dude. I don't know. It just seemed, even though he did so much crazy shit, it almost feels like vanilla compared to these guys. So I'm just gonna keep him an A. I wouldn't put him in the same league as Flamingo and Crocodile. This dude, whatever, a B, whatever. The Seraphims, that's what they're called. I guess they're pretty tough, so we'll put them in a B. Again, damage doesn't really make sense, so they annoy me a little bit. How these things just are fucking everybody so easily, like Luffy. Luffy beat Kaido, and then he's struggling against these dudes. It's shit like this, whatever. This bitch, I guess she's a traitor. She did what she had to do. Good villain, I guess. She's B, C. Whatever, I'll keep her in C. These guys, okay, so these guys really, really annoy me because Oda, again, just out of nowhere, Whitebeard, Gold Roger and Whitebeard are supposed to be the strongest. Gold Roger dies, Whitebeard is the strongest, then Whitebeard dies. Okay, so now Kaido is the strongest, supposedly. Then it's Shanks, then it's these guys. It's just, I really just, so many mysteries. The fact that they're immortal somehow, I don't like that either. I don't care if it's because of emo or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I only like this dude, like the Mars dude. The rest of these guys suck quite a bit. And this guy should have, I understand Oda wanted to do this shit where Emu kills him, so it looks cool this way. But it should have been like when you do throw them in the water, they die. So when Luffy and Bonnie attack this dude and they punch him to hell, he should have just fallen in the sea and died, as opposed to just going back in the island. But anyway. This dude, we don't know. I really don't know much about these dudes, so whatever. Emu, now Emu does feel like a great, that proper mysterious villain, ultimate, really bad. I don't know if I'm going to put him on the level of, I guess I'll put him here because he's supposed to be like the ultimate fucking villain. Shrouded in mystery. Represents, as far as I'm concerned, like the whole Celestial Dragon shit in One Piece. It's almost like Oda wrote them for them to represent the trillionaire Jews that run the world. Anyway, I'm getting political here. I normally don't do this, but that's what I think about. I mean, it's almost like, yeah, Oda wrote the Celestial Dragons. You think about everything they do and how you can't do shit against them. It's like, yeah, the billionaire and trillionaire Jews that run everything, that they think they're better than everybody else, apparently. Even though they don't want to admit it. But then if we do anything, they act like the victims, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to put this guy in S. And then these dudes, I think I'm getting into territory that's manga spoiler. These are film... Man, is this guy supposed to be Shanks or something? Okay, I think I'm getting into spoiler territory for myself here. So I'm gonna ignore these dudes, and a lot of they put these movie villains, but didn't put the other ones. But anyway, Shiki is actually one of my favorites. I'm gonna put him into. He's one of the dudes that I actually might put in S as villain. He's devil fruit, kinda doesn't make too much sense in ways. And the fight with Luffy again, how he kicks his ass, and this guy's supposed to be like Yonko Lava, whatever. I'm gonna keep him in S because I really like him. And Uta, where the hell is she? I think I put her somewhere by accident. There you are, bitch. I'll put her into B. Film Red, it was cool, but I think it was because of all the money they put into it. It's like, if you put so much money in any film like that, it's gonna look good because of the actions. It's gonna be at least solid because of the action. A lot of the plot with Uta, whatever. I'll keep it at B. That's whatever. So these are the One Piece villain rankings. I think this video is pretty random. A lot of my explanations are random. A lot of villains are actually missing. And a lot of characters that I wouldn't even consider villains are here. Like more than 50% of these characters, they aren't even villains. But yeah, man, I think you guys get an idea of what my thoughts are on who I think is cool, who isn't cool. Yeah. So gonna wrap up the video. I hope you enjoyed the rankings. You can tell me if you agree, if you disagree, if you think other characters are cooler or not as cool, who you think doesn't feel like a villain too, or characters that do feel like villains. Yeah. Say Roll94, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What a